Hey guys, Matteo here. Welcome back to a new video, and today I want to talk to you about the new Blackmagic 6K full frame camera, and specifically I want to tell you who's these cameras for, because a lot of people have been asking me if they should get this camera or the original Pocket 6K or the 6K Pro or the Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Let me start by saying that I think a lot of people completely misunderstood this camera. And the essence of this camera is to give you guys an actual cinema camera in basically a very compact form factor with a monitor built in so that you're ready to go. You can throw this in your backpack, take it out and start shooting. But now let's just talk about who is this camera for, in my opinion. Let's just start with aspiring cinematographers. So people that are basically entering this world, the cinematography world. I'm not talking about vlog and YouTube, and I'm talking about real cinematography. You're getting a camera with no image stabilization, so you can learn how to properly stabilize your footage by operating the camera handle. You're gonna pull your own focus, so no autofocus on this camera, especially if you use, all these beautiful manual lenses. You're not gonna have autofocus anyway. You have your built-in monitor, so you don't have to spend another $500, $600, $700 on an external monitor, because this one tilts out like this and you're absolutely good to go. And on top of that, of course, you're getting your false colors tool, which is an amazing tool for exposure. It's actually the best tool for exposure out there, the one that all the top DP or the top cinematographer use. If you are serious about cinematography, this camera is a no-brainer. There's nothing quite like this on the market. But now a lot of people asking me, okay, but should I get the full frame, the original 6K or the 6K Pro? Well, this depends on your necessity. For me, one of the only point that I was always complaining about the 6K, the original one, and the 6K Pro was the crop factor. I'm a big fan of Super 35 sensor, but there are S35 sensor like the Ursa Mini Pro 12K, which has a 1.3 crop, and there are S35 sensor which have 1.5, or in the case of the original Pocket, the one I'm filming, 1.56. And for a Super 35, I thought it was a little bit too much. For example, my 35mm was an actual 54mm. Don't get me wrong, dynamic range is amazing, colors are amazing, you're getting the same software, you're getting the same features, you're getting the gyro stabilization thing. But the other thing about this camera regarding the crop is that now you have an L mount. That means you can adapt pretty much any lenses from EF to PL to vintage lenses without having to worry about the crop factors. So between, of course, a Pocket 4K, an original Pocket 6K, 6K G2, and this one, I think there's no doubt you might gonna go with this one, because yeah, maybe you spend a little bit more, but you're getting L mount, full frame, 3x2 open gate, OLPF inside, so it's a much better deal. Now, different question is, if you're thinking about something like this with this form factor, but you want internal ND, is the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. Now, I talked many times about those ND. I'm not a big fan for small stuff, or for a bunch of people they're probably working, but for my standard, they're not that good. Also, you can shoot ProRes. This is something I forgot to mention. This camera doesn't shoot ProRes. I'm not shooting ProRes is many years. If you have to deliver for an agency, for a production company that requires you all the time ProRes right after the shoot, then yes, your option are only the original Blackmagic Pocket 6K and the 6K Pro. Keep in mind, guys, the Pocket 6K Pro has some pretty bad IR pollution, which this one doesn't have because it has an OLPF technically. So even if you think you're not gonna need any filter, you always gonna need a clear IR filter in front of your lens. Now, I know you've been hearing online so many people complaining about the form factor of this camera. In my experience, I have to be honest, guys, I absolutely love this body, this form factor. I think it's fantastic because, again, you can take this out of your backpack, put a lens on, put a battery on, you have your monitor here. You don't have to rig up anything. The other reason why it's a little bit bigger compared, for example, to an FX3 or to a Panasonic or to a Fuji, and this is what people keep forgetting all the time, you're shooting full frame 3x2 6K internal RAW in a camera this big. So when people are like, oh yeah, but the FX3 is smaller, yeah, of course, it shoots H.264. What do you expect? Internal RAW requires a cooling space and a cooling system that allows you to cool down the camera. Otherwise, you end up like many other camera that need a fan in front of it, otherwise they're gonna overheat. And now you might wonder, yes, but you know, I'm not a beginner, I wanna rig up my camera, I wanna use it as a true cinema camera. Is that appropriate for that scope, for that goal? And the answer is yes. We've been rigging up Pocket, original Pocket, Pocket 4K, Pocket 6K, 6K Pro forever. You can put a cage, you can put a top handle, a matte box, or some beautiful filters, V-mount batteries. You can do that. And this is the beauty about this form factor. You can use it like this. You know, if you need to squeeze on a bus and grab a couple of quick shots, you can do so. This is able to still pass as a photo camera. So people don't even know you're shooting video. That's the beauty of it. You want to rig it, you can rig it. You have a full production camera right there, no problem. But now let's say that you need fantastic internal ND, full XLR ports, really good quality slow motion footage. If you have a big production company, or you know, you're thinking about doing some big production, at that point, Ursa Mini Pro 12K 75 frames per second, 8K 120 frames per second, and 4K no crop. You have amazing dynamic range, amazing color science, beautiful B-RAW, doesn't shoot ProRes as well. So owning an Ursa Mini Pro 12K, as I see this 6K full frame camera, this is more like an extension of my Ursa, because it's the same color science, the same amazing beautiful color. You know, they have some different characteristics. This is much better in low light than the Ursa. The Ursa has no rolling shutter. This has a little bit of rolling shutter. If I need to go on a trip and I want to capture some stock footage, I'm gonna bring my 6K full frame. If I have a small commercial to shoot in the street and I want it to be lightweight and it's just me, or then I can use this camera and I know I'm gonna get the same beautiful, amazing Blackmagic colors. So if I have a big client that want to do a full production, of course, I'm gonna grab my Ursa Mini Pro 12K and I can bring this maybe as a backup camera, because people think that camera never fail. So I had a big Arri Alexa failure in the middle of a feature film. This is another important point that I think you guys should think about it, is that if there's a client that is paying you 10, 15, 20, even $5,000, you show up and for some reason the camera doesn't work, I think having a backup camera is incredibly important. So if you're debating about buying a 6K full frame and you're at the beginning and you don't have super high paid client, that's fine. You know, this is a fantastic camera. You can do so many things, short films, commercial, documentary. But if you're doing this job since a few years and you're thinking about an, you know, Ursa Mini Pro or this one, my suggestion is probably get an Ursa Mini Pro 12K and this one together. It's gonna serve you as a beautiful backup camera and also as a big camera. So if you're doing an interview, you can set up your Ursa Mini Pro, your 6K full frame, and you're good to go. So if you need to squeeze in a super tight car with an actor and you need to have a full frame because you need all that field of view of the lens, then you have a 6K full frame that you can use in the car for doing camera cars, or you know, for those tight shots where bringing an Ursa Mini Pro 12K will be extremely hard. At the end of the day, guys, if you're debating between these or the Blackmagic 6K, of course, it all comes down to money. I get it, you can probably get an old 6K for $1,500, while this is $1,000 more. So if it's about money and if you can't really pushing it to $2,500, yes, I mean, the 6K Pocket, the original 6K Pocket is fantastic camera, but if you have that extra $500, $1,000, I would get this one, mainly because, of course, the L mount and the fact they can adapt any lenses without worrying about the crop. But yeah, that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, the full review of the new Blackmagic 6K full frame is coming out soon. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.